All right, welcome back to Mohawk-Garage. Today I'm out here working on my Razor 2012 Razor 800S. I was out riding the other day, pretty long ride, and on the way back I started hearing some rattling. I'm a little bit concerned because this sound is very concerning. Let's see if you can hear it on the video. I'm not quite sure. What I got going on is a lot of valve noise at mid-range throttle, and I think I'm gonna have to tear this engine apart. So let's see if you can hear it on video. That's pretty normal. That's kind of what it normally sounds like, but as you rev it up, quite a bit of tapping. Quite a bit of tapping going on. I've already taken it apart once and did the oil change on it. I did the oil pressure release valve modification, as well as changed the transmission fluid because I drained the transmission instead of the engine oil. So now I'm going to tear it apart again, get a little deeper inside of here and see if I can find out what's wrong. I really need to get this thing back on the road. My dog loves to ride every single day, and he has been driving me nuts by not being able to go. So we'll see what we can find. Okay, in order to get to the valve cover, you gotta pull the freaking exhaust off. So start with these springs up here. We'll grab them so they don't fall down like they did last time. Spring and spring. And then take these exhaust manifold bolts out. The last time I took this bolt out, there was no longer any threads in the head, so I ended up having to helicoil that one. And I'm pretty sure that one of the other ones stripped out while I was putting it together, so probably gonna have to deal with that. These will usually be 6mm Allen head. I've replaced mine with 10mm. 10mm flange bolts. And one 13mm. That's the one that doesn't seem like it has any threads left. So I'll probably be doing a helicoil on that one as well. Header off. Got a PCV hose here. Pull that back. There are 6 8mm bolts. I guess make that 7 8mm Allen bolts for the valve cover. Take that off. Alright, I got the valve cover off. Here are my rockers, which I suspect are loose by the sound of things. That one's a little bit loose. That one's tight. That one's tight. They're all so very tight. It's crazy. Alright. Pull these rockers off. pull these off of here. Keep them in the same order as they come off. Pull these rods out. I'm rolling them in my hands just to check and see if they're bent. Definitely got oil. Definitely got oil too. Alright, before I grab my bore scope, I'm just going to see if I can see anything in this video. Nothing that looks super scary down in there. Alright, got the scope here. I don't know if you'll be able to see any of this. Run down in there. See the lifters there. Not missing a clip or anything. Also there, not missing a clip. Also there. Both sides of the clip there. And then the same in the back. What I did, I took this magnet here and I went down in each one of the cylinders, or in the, for the lifters, and you can, with this magnet, you can pull the lifter up out of its bore, right? You can't get it out of the head because there's some protruding material on the side of the head that won't let you get it out, but you can lift it up and feel that it can clear its bore, meaning that it's not mushroomed at the end. So you can do that with these two, but these two, I cannot get the lifter to come out of its bore. It stops dead as I'm pulling it up, which tells me that most likely the lifters have failed and possibly damaged the cam. So, in other words, we got to dig deeper. Okay, I think I got the head freed up enough to get it out of there. It was quite a battle to get the head bolts undone, as they've been in there for a long time. And this one up here doesn't come out until the head's off of it. So, let's find out how many things I didn't disconnect. There. Oh, ow. Alright. Alright. Okay, fine. Stay down there. Let's see. Windows look alright. Still can't see nothing in there. Okay, I don't want to remove the pistons from the jug there because I don't have any kind of spring compressor, so I'm going to try and do something dumb and just bump the starter and see if it bumps the whole head up. Hold my beer. Okay, that kind of worked. Got the pistons up into the bore so that I got some room to lift it up. Try to lift this thing up. About yay far. Far enough that I can snatch these lifters, but not so far that it comes out. Alright, really hard to see this and probably even harder to film it. But you can see that's one of the lifters I couldn't get out. And you see that little bit of darkness there? I wonder what that is. But I can't get that lifter out. What I'm gonna do there. Okay, so at this point, I have decided that it's time to rebuild the motor. I can't get those lifters up out of the bore there. I can't force them out of the bore and then damage the bore for the lifter and then have to replace the block. So I believe I've got to take the motor out, disassemble it, pull the camshaft out, drop the lifters down into the engine, and then pull them out through the crank hole, I guess. So now I'm going to remove the engine from the side-by-side. Great. Got to pull the belt cover off first. Alright, this thing about here. Okay, got the seat bar removed. Now I can move this. Hopefully, finally, get out of the way. Yeah. Promise you, it comes out of there. Gotta pull that off. Get out a couple of bolts here on the back to be able to separate the engine and transmission. Alright, pulled the two big bolts out. I think this one should slip right off. Should just pop right off. There we go. Just pops right off, see? Oh. All right. Belt. Primary clutch. I hear there's some kind of puller for this, but I'm going to try and beat it off there with a hammer. Let's see how well that works. Hammer time! Well, the hammer method is working about as well as you'd expect. Okay, after several days of waiting on the tool to arrive, it took me only moments to realize that there was no freaking way that it was going to work on this machine. So, back to the wide world of the internet, I find that you take this 3/4 inch fine thread bolt and a couple of sockets, shove them down in there. You can actually make your own press that will work in a more compact space like this. Shove the sockets in there, thread the bolt in. Should press against the sockets and pull the clutch off. Any kind of lubricant when you are trying to pull something with the threads prevents the threads from galling and tearing up your tool or your part. Okay, it took more time and way more effort than I wanted it to be able to break this thing loose. But I finally did get it broke loose with a quite large breaker bar. I was a little bit scared there for a minute. You don't really want to mess up the crankshaft on your engine. There. Once it pops off, once it pops loose, should come right off. Oh yeah. There you go. Get your sockets out of the backside. Maybe that's where my oil was going. Look at that. That's pretty nasty. Alright, I had to dig these bolts out a little bit. Covered in grease. Okay. Please excuse my hair. Getting this cover off has been an interesting adventure. Okay, so I had to put too much force, more force than I wanted to, onto the clutch to get it off. And then once I got that off, this cover here is actually RTV'd on there very, very well. So I had to use more force than I wanted to do that. But I'm used to working with old stuff, so I was just gentle but firm. Alright, now we've got the cover off of there for the CVT. And we'll figure out how to separate the engine from the transmission. And get that puppy out of there. Alright, here is my concern. Gotta pull the starter off, I think. And then I gotta get at that bolt and that one. They're like extra crusty. Alright. Got those bolts out. Let's see. Free the motor up. Are you now free to move about the cabin? Okay, it is yet another day on the side-by-side. I did get the engine loose. I'm glad you guys didn't have to watch me suffer through that. It was tricky and I did have to get some help because there's a couple of studs on the bottom of the transmission that go through the engine. So you have to raise the engine on one side and drop the engine on the other side and raise the transmission, blah, blah, blah. It's tricky, okay? It's tricky. But I got it loose and I'm gonna get some help over here and get it pulled out. And then we're going to start rebuilding this thing. Yeah, show you what I got. There you go, got it separated. There's the stud, it's on the bottom of the engine. But it's got to come up and out of that housing there. And it's tricky. But she's all loose, everything's unhooked. Just got to get her out of there. Okay, if you're still following along on this video, God bless your soul. Got the engine out with my boy Seth. We have been tearing this thing down pretty much all day long. And we're getting ready to split the case, which wasn't really necessary, but I wanted to replace this oil seal and I paid 90 bucks for the kit, so I'm putting it in there. So here we are about to split the case. Oh yeah. Give her a whack.
Ooh, that was gonna be solid.
Oh, we're done. Ah, just kidding. A lot more work was involved. But now we got the case split. So Seth is gonna open her up.
And there we go.
Oh yeah. And here's the reason why we had to split the case, because I wanted to replace this seal right here, and it's got a lip on the inside of it. So evidently they make a kit without the lip on it and you can install it from the outside, but we're here. More great news. Thanks to the use of too much silicone by the previous builder, the oil passage in the bearing for the balance shaft has gotten full of silicone, starved it for oil, and spun the bearing in the case. Sweet. Okay, I had some help come and we thrashed throughout the night, got this engine torn down, got the head tore apart, I got the block put back together, the cam is inside, everything is lubed. Should be going back together today. Really hope to be riding it tomorrow. So I know the video is gonna be kind of choppy. Most of y'all don't watch this anyway, so if you are here, I really appreciate you sticking around. I don't know if this is all going to be in one video or not. It's a lot of work, I'll tell you that much. Okay, so we got to get these valves. We had to lap them and clean them and all of this stuff, and now we got to get them back together. So we had to make a tool for ourselves to do this. Use the nail bar, drilled a hole in it, put a bolt through it, dropped it on the floor, drop forged right here at Mohawk-Garage. So set the bolt in, then we can use the nail bar as leverage to actually do this process. Using a rag underneath it here to hold the valves up while we're doing this so that they don't drop out. The struggle is real, folks.